Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. So today's tip is to always be kind. And you're like, how does that help with frugalness? So I'll see if I still have the receipt. And if I do, I'll kind of highlight and stick it in there where I got a discount just for being nice. So I went to AutoZone. Okay, so story is I went to get my oil changed a couple of weeks ago. I had an oil leak that they noticed, so they said come in, so I paid like $200, like $199.95 to get it checked out and see where the leak was coming from. So they looked, and apparently there were two small leaks, one from like the solenoid, and I can't remember what the other part was. But they wanted like, I don't know, 4,000-ish dollars. One was $470, and the other one was, I believe, 3,995, but it could have been 2,995. But it was either just under three or just under $4,000. So my car has 140,000 miles on it. I am not paying that kind of money. So I went to AutoZone. Oh, and by the way, it's not a huge oil leak. They noticed it when they were under the car, but it was not obvious. I haven't dripped oil anywhere. It has been a couple of weeks. I wasn't low on oil when I got my oil changed. I haven't had to fill the oil. I'm checking it every few days, and the dipstick is always indicating that the oil is completely full. So they suspect I'm losing anywhere from an ounce every 1 to 2 weeks, essentially. And so I can get a quart of oil, which is what, 8, 16, 32 ounces. So for 32 weeks to 64 weeks, that's $10. And it might get worse, but I mean, for $4,000, I'd rather just get a different car that's not so stinking expensive to fix. Especially because the two parts that they wanted were $400 and $60 were the cost of the parts. And they, and it's a 2-hour job. So I was definitely going to be being overcharged. And the guy at AutoZone, he was like really nice. He's like, well, what's leaking? And I told him, he's like, yeah, that's like a $40 or a $60 and a $400 part. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I was like, does it take a really long time? He's like 2 hours. And I was like, oh. So I decided not to get it fixed for now. And I might check other shops because clearly that's just way too expensive. Sorry, my ear is bugging me. So anyways, I was talking to them. They were really nice, and everything. And I was getting the quart of oil, and I, got my 5W30 high mileage or whatever. It was like $10-ish. And for no reason at all, they gave me a 10% courtesy discount. I'm like, oh, I always thought when I heard about courtesy discounts, I always thought it was for when people complained or whatever. So they just give it to them to get them to shut up. But I didn't complain. I didn't ask for anything. I was super polite, and I was like, oh, thanks. That's so helpful. I'm like, wonder if I can do this myself. I'm like, I think I might check out some other mechanics. And they were like, okay. And they gave me a 10% discount just for being nice. And I was like, okay. Then the other day I was getting water because my water here sucks. So I go and pay 25 to 50 cents a gallon, depending on whether I get it outside or whether I have to go to the grocery store. Anyways, I was at the grocery store. Sorry, ow. Sorry, I scalded my foot today and it really stinking hurts. That's a whole other story. But I went and it's like there's an area to fill 1 gallon and an area to fill 5 gallons, but I only had gallons and there's 2 machines. And so the one lady's like, oh, I can come back. I'm like, oh, there's 2 machines. I'll only use the one. We can share and everything. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I saw you coming in, so I figured that like you could use a machine and I could use a machine. She's like, oh, okay. I looked over and she was filling the 1 gallon with the 5 gallon thing too. I don't know why. I just assumed the machine, like once you turned on one, you could only turn on one, but you can turn on both. So you can fill 4 gallons at the same time there. So I was like, oh my gosh. So by being kind, I also learned something. And I mean, the lady was like super nice. So sorry, I have to fix my ice. My foot really hurts. Here's a tip. When working with boiling water, don't spill it on yourself. So being kind, I mean, it only saved me like $1. I mean, it wasn't like it was it was like a 10% courtesy discount and it was around a $10. It was like, I don't know, $8 or $9 bottle of oil because it was full synthetic. And then, I didn't necessarily save money by being kind with the water, but I saved time. And like, that's time that I will save over and over and over again. So it's just simple things. Another guy, I saw him buying a bunch of distilled water when I was at Menards. And like I said, I have crap water. Like I have been dealing with my faucet is all stiff again because I have so much calcification that I go through faucets like stinking, I don't know, so quick. Like they wear out in about 18 to 24 months. It's been about 2 years. And though they're both still technically working, they're both starting to have more issues because my water is just so full of minerals. I'm going to have to call a plumber out again. If I had the room to put in a water filtration system, I would, because at this point I feel like it would save me money, but there's no space to put it in. So maybe I'll ask the plumber if there's a space for it under my sink for like one of those little reverse osmosis ones. But anyways, I digress. So the water person was nice. I forgot. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by my stinking foot. Like I spilled scalding water, like it backsplashed onto my foot, and there was no cold water immediately present or anything, like, so I had to like run and run cold water on it in the bathtub. It was not fun, but I digress. So there was the 10% discount at the AutoZone, I think it was, just for being nice. They decided to give me a 10% discount, though I don't quite understand why. There was the tip I learned from the one lady. Oh, and then when I was at Menards, I saw this guy with a bunch of distilled water in the plant area with like getting like pots and everything and I asked him, I said, can I ask you a question? He's like, sure, what? And you could tell like the guy was really, really shy. But I asked him, I said, is the distilled water for the plants? And he's like, yeah. So I asked him and I explained, I've been seed starting and, some years it's okay, but a lot of years I don't get the results I'm expecting. And, I've done heat mats and lights and blah, 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 blah. And I'm wondering if it's my water because I have really bad water. And he's like, it could be. He's like, if it's for like a vegetable garden, he explained like he has some really fussy plants at home. Like some breeds are really fussy and require distilled water. But he said I could probably just use filtered water, like the water I drink, on my plant starts. And he said that could definitely help. So I'm thinking that I'm going to get better results with the filtered water, because he was explaining to me that the minerals, though plants want minerals, when there's too much and the soil's too logged, like they can't actually access the minerals in the soil. Like it just kind of clogs it all up. Kind of like it clogs up my faucet and makes it hard to turn. So I now got a 10% discount. I learned a quicker way to fill the water, which I will go through more as I'm planting and watering with it. And I also learned one of the problems that my plants are having that I could not figure out. So I will probably get better results from my plants as well from that. So by being nice and I mean, I guess to some extent being outgoing as well, like being willing to talk to people. And I feel like I was always really good at talking to strangers. It was something that my mom kind of taught me to do. Not good at friends, not good at relationships, but good at talking to strangers. And I feel like I kind of lost that since 2020. A lot of people were really mean to me and rude to me. And so I kind of like converted into my shell. And so I feel like this channel kind of like has brought me back out of my shell. So thank you all. Thank you all for your support. Because it's definitely helped me more than I think, you realize. So when y'all comment and, give advice or, tell me that I've inspired you in some way or just chat, like it really does mean a lot to me. So I do want to thank you there, because that definitely has helped me. But I feel like just being nice, you can do so much. Oh my gosh. Are my eyes like red in all the videos? Oh my gosh. I really hope they aren't. I'll have to rewatch this video because I'm looking at my eyes now. I'm not a big eye contact person, so I don't even normally look at my eyes on the screen, but like they look red like they did in photos as a kid. I'm sorry, I digress. Anyways, again, my name is Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. So today's tip for frugal living is be nice, because you can learn more, you can save more. You never know what you're going to get from being nice, but I can tell you this, you're not going to get nothing from being mean. So, so today's tip, be nice. Anyways, my name's Melissa. This year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.